when it comes to decriminalisation, so I've struggled to. I've looked at the sort of propositions that they suggest with that, but I've struggled to get my head around if you decriminalise, if you have it where a drug is illegal, you are essentially saying that this drug is, it's an evil for society. It's a negative, a net negative for society, and we say, right, we're going to get rid of it. But then by saying that it would be decriminalised, you're then kind of allowing people to have it and therefore encourage demand, but not regulating the supply from that side. So I don't really understand that. And then also you have the problem with like dealers can then be caught with like small amounts, and it's kind of like, okay, that's personal use.
Yeah, I mean that's what you've got in like Portugal. They've just got like little like runners where they've got exactly the amount that like they're just below what is like legally. I think it's like 3.5 grams or something. Yeah, I mean, you get that as a result of decriminalisation, and that's why decriminalisation isn't like that great for. Well, it's great for dealers.
Yeah,
and it's
just
good.
Business is booming.
Yeah, and I think with decrim, there's kind of like different levels of decriminalisation. There's things like in Portugal, like full blown decriminalisation, but there's also really good like funding into like public health interventions and treatment. And Portugal went from having like the worst opioid addiction problem in Europe to like one of the lowest now, I think. So it's like combated those issues really well from taking like a health-based approach. But then you've got places like San Francisco, which have effectively decriminalized and just don't police drugs at all.
No.
And you have like absolutely, you've got like tent cities of homeless people living in like selling drugs and taking drugs, and it's creating like a massive problem. And there's a lot of crime in San Francisco, even though they've kind of like stopped policing. Yeah, now that they've stopped policing crime and drug use. So there's a real like fine line and balance with it. Things like diversion schemes are quite good, where you get like a warning, essentially, like a couple of warnings, and if you're caught in possession with drugs, you go through like a education or treatment plan, depending on whether you're just like, whether you've got like an addiction or whether you've just messed up and made a mistake. So I think with decrim, it really depends on like what other interventions you pair with it to make it effective.